The greatest gift you can give your children is to have them leave home feeling good about themselves. Because feeling good about yourself is without exception the single most important thing in life. And there are 3 core fears that stop you feeling good about yourself. The first is I'm not worth loving or I'm not good enough. The second is I'm unsafe in some way. And the third is I don't belong, I don't fit in, I'm separate. Now, if you as a parent know this, then you can prepare. Now, what we know from epigenetics is it's between 0 and 7 that one or more of these core beliefs gets embedded. And we as a toddler tell ourselves this story. And it is just a story. But what you can do with when you've got a toddler below 7, or before you have children, remember this, and work on yourself. Because by eradicating your own fears, you stop the creating the field in which the children can pick up your fears, which they do. However, once you've worked on your fears, you can also make sure, because it isn't always you that creates an environment which the child tells themselves this story. It might be a sibling, it might be school, it might be a relative, it might be some experience the child has had where they don't feel safe. And they tell, for example, let me give you the example, that's easier. Let's say you or mummy or daddy has not slept for 3 weeks because the toddler hasn't slept or the baby hasn't slept for 3 weeks. And at the end of 3 weeks, you are beyond exhausted. And the toddler does something or the baby does something and you yell. You go, oh no, whatever it might be. You don't do it out of any malice, but the baby doesn't know that. The baby just hears mummy or daddy yelling and they think, oh, mummy, daddy doesn't love me. I'm not safe. I'm not good enough. And that, boom, gets embedded and gets repeated until it becomes a core belief. Now, I know about these because I got the trifecta. And, you know, when I was little, we were in India and my mum left, I found out after she died, for a year when I was about 2 or 3. During that time, I got molested and my father was an alcoholic. And so there was this like perfect storm of things for me to get the trifecta. But it doesn't have to be a trifecta for everybody. You can just get one or more of them. You can just feel unsafe. If you've got a parent with mental health issues or alcoholism issues, getting the I'm unsafe one is very common. Interestingly, if you get any of those fears, it basically determines your behaviors for the rest of your life in all your relationships and all your workplaces, in everything that you do. For example, if you didn't feel safe as a child, and I did not learn this till I was an adult and married, and my ex-husband told me one day how controlling I was, and I, innocently went, moi? Controlling? I couldn't see it, but it did take a few months and I realized he was absolutely right because I felt unsafe. The only way I could make myself feel safe was to control everything and everyone around me. Now, did that make me fun to live with? No. As you could ask my ex-husband, who is my best friend by now. So, everybody keep breathing. But when you don't feel that you're worth loving, and I, of course, didn't just settle for not worth loving, I told myself I was worthless. And that went through my whole life. And I'm 70 now, and I think it's only in the last 12 months that I have genuinely been able to come close to saying I am worth loving and allowing love in and being able to feel love. Now, of course, some of you are going to say, wow, she's a slow learner, but understand how deeply embedded that was. And with your below 7 toddlers, if you actually have conversations with them saying, you are so worth loving. You've got to say those words, not just I love you, but you are so worth loving and you are so good enough. It doesn't mean that the child's never going to grow and develop and that if we tell ourselves that, won't grow and develop, but it means that we're embedding the right concepts. And then say to the child, you are safe. You will always be safe with me. You will be safe with us. You are safe within yourself. And it's a little hard as a toddler because I had to teach myself as I got older that I was responsible for my safety and that I actually had to take care of my little toddler and go back and try to imagine my 2-year-old self and support her and love her and keep her safe and protect her. And then you say to the child, and you always belong here. You are never separate. We are always bonded together. And when you do that, you can allay some of the fears and stories that the toddler told themselves. And if you have older children, it's still important to talk to them about these fears. Show them this video and let them hear what I said the 3 core fears are, and then discuss them and help the children understand that they are worth loving, they are good enough, they do belong, and they are safe. Because that's what drives a lot of the teenagers' difficult behaviors. And then if you have adult children who are having their own children, it's even more critical that they pay attention to this so that they can do grandchildren without fears. And the children can leave home without those fears ruling their lives. So I hope that's useful, and go forth and eradicate fear so that your children leave home feeling good about themselves. And that will be the best gift you could ever give them.